We're in the Ram Truck Workshop here at the Rebuilding Exchange with Meegan Czop. Meegan, you're an expert at taking the old and making it new again. I see a vat of boiling water. I don't see any poached eggs in there, but I see a lot of hardware.
So here in Chicago, we have a great stock of antique homes. A lot of homes built before 1900, and a lot of them are stocked with really beautiful old hardware. So we're gonna dig up one of these hinges and see what kind of treasure is under there.
If you're living in an older home, you just might find intricate detailing on your door hinges, doorknobs, and keyholes. Oftentimes, these bad boys are covered in paint or are dirty and tarnished. Meegan says we can make them shiny and new again with a process that's as simple as boiling water, and with only a few simple supplies.
We simply have dish soap or baking soda, which you probably have at your house. You're gonna want a pot that you're never going to use again.
Sure.
So it's a good idea to label it not for food use on there. We're using an old metal dog bowl actually. So
it works.
And then a burner or a crock pot. So you can do either one. Maybe it's an excuse to go get a new crock pot and you can use your old one for this project.
You'll also need a plastic putty knife, cleaning brush, steel wool, gloves, and clear lacquer spray. And don't forget tongs or pliers to get the hardware in and out of the hot water. Meegan's pot is full of hot water and a splash of dish soap. To speed things along for us, she has already been cooking this piece of hardware on low heat for about an hour.
We're gonna use some pliers to pull it out.
The paint on this hinge is softened up, so it's time to scrape it off.
I'm using a plastic putty knife. Oh, look at that.
Because you don't want the metal on metal?
Exactly. The metal can scratch up, and if you have a really beautiful door hardware pattern, especially, you might even uncover it and find out that you've got brass. So you don't want to scratch it. So this is pulling off really easily.
After scraping with the plastic putty knife, we tackle the hardware with a bristle brush.
So what you want to do, you want to scrape off what you can, scrub it a little bit, and then you're going to want to put it back in because it's just going to loosen it up. So I have another one here that we can pull out, and we'll just switch places. Put this one back in, let that cook some more.
So how many times do you do this? How many times do you take it off, scrape it, take it off?
It totally depends on how many layers of paint are on there and how long that you've been cooking it.
So far, this project seems pretty easy. It's just a lot of soaking and scrubbing. Time for me to give it a try.
I'll have you do the dirty work.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
It's easy, and it's all things you have at home, pretty much.
And you're not messing around with chemicals or anything like that.
You really don't need to. You can do it with stripper as well, but why bother? This is much easier.
And there's another ingredient we need to add to the mix. A big dose of patience. Yep, not exactly my strong suit, but it's a necessity for this project. The longer you let the hardware soak in the hot water, the easier it is to clean. So continue soaking, scraping, and scrubbing until your hardware is looking good. It looks like the paint's coming off.
We can just clean it off and start brushing it with the steel wool.
Here, why don't you give it to me? I'll steel wool that bad boy.
Just start on that one. Yeah, it looks like we have a really cool pattern coming out here. So you can see we're really starting to see this. This is our before over here.
Oh, wow. After buffing with the steel wool, Meegan shakes up a can of clear lacquer. A nice thin coat of this will seal the finish and prevent rusting on our newly restored hardware. Oh yeah, it pops right away.
Yeah. So that's gonna take a second to dry.
I could barely recognize our antique door hinge. It only took about a half day of soaking and scrubbing to get it looking shiny and new again. And if you already have a crock pot or burner, this project should cost you less than $10.
It's easy, it's quick, it's pretty painless, and it's a great way to add value to your home.